Every so often, a game comes along that catches you off guard. You expect it to be good, but not this good, not this meaningful. Misc, A Tiny Tale is one of those rare titles. It's vibrant, wholesome, smartly designed, and at just 3 centimeters tall, our tiny protagonist Buddy manages to deliver on one of the biggest, most emotional adventures I've had all year. Tinyware Games, an indie studio made up of just 3 core people, have put together something truly special here. Something I would classify as unforgettable. The game kicks off with a bang, or should I say an explosion. There is a large burst of light that you, your friend Bagboy, and the eternally hungry cat Flick all witness. It's this golden-filled explosion along with some dubiously placed signs by the sign guy that will be the running through line for your adventure. It's what Bagboy uses as a suggestion to investigate the outer lands. It's what forms your motivations. It's what will eventually connect you to the many chapters and NPCs along the way, and it's the nexus that sets you off on a journey that will leave an everlasting imprint on you. Because of this reason, this review will be spoiler free. I will not rob you of any of these story moments. This is truly something you need to experience firsthand. What begins as a grander tale about a tiny robot helping clean up the world quickly evolves into something layered and profound. You'll meet other robots along the way who share their recollections of the mysterious explosion, weaving together a larger story told from many different perspectives, which really drives home the gravitas and scale of this event from the perspective of these tiny characters. You'll learn about where they were when it happened, you'll find out what changed in their world, and it all contributes to this undeniable sense of community or of a shared experience. And yet all of this is just scratching the surface of what this game has to offer. While the central mystery keeps you moving forward, along with the more philosophical questions of what came before the robots and where are all the humans, the real narrative is all about celebrating difference. Differences in looks, personalities, abilities, preferences, and perspectives. It's all about embracing what makes us unique. When playing Misc, you will immediately be hit with a sense of authenticity. Through the thematics and dialogue and your interactions with every robot, you can't shake the feeling of how personal this game feels. Not just in how I connected to it, but in how much of themselves the developers have seemed to have poured in. When you 100% a level, you unlock concept art, lore, and developer notes. And reading through them, it's clear that this isn't just a little fun platformer. It's a passion project. It's sincere, heartfelt, and made by people who genuinely care about what they're saying. That emotional vulnerability radiates through every line of dialogue and every lovingly crafted detail. There are moments across the entire emotional spectrum, and some done so well that I could not fathom how this would have been achieved unless it came from a real lived experience. Again, it has such a high and authentic emotional potency and a story I will cherish for years to come. So moving away from the story, let's dive into what you'll actually be doing here in the gameplay. Because this is a collectathon, it stands to reason that, well, you'll be collecting a lot of things. One of the things you'll be collecting is rubbish. Now at first I was like, I don't really want to pick up rubbish, man. But then I see how picking up rubbish feeds into core gameplay loops. You can take your collected rubbish and bring it over to the recyclotron for coins. These coins can then be used to buy various items that you may need to complete a quest, to buy a buddy, a safety pin for combat, or help you progress through the level itself. Once I saw how integral this was for my personal goals, the switch flipped for me. I saw rubbish flashing in the corner of my eye, and it has a satisfying tone when it's collected. So then it became a compulsion. I had to pick up every piece I saw and then I could get my hands on. You'll also see these golden cogs flying around, and they act as your main progression system. You'll need a minimum of 8 cogs to pass through the broken gate for each chapter. Now some cogs are just out in the open and you'll find them through exploration. Others are rewards for helping NPCs, solving puzzles, or completing challenges. Them being hidden away behind so many different things created a lot of variety when you go to collect them. It means that every chapter and every single cog and the way that you collect it is different. It means that nothing becomes boring or stale. Now speaking of challenges, for those wanting to test your platforming skills, there are optional challenges thanks to this mischievous robot Gus. He will have a challenge segment in most chapters that will put you into these arena type levels. Your goal is simple, just get to the end. And the challenge comes from there being no checkpoints, so if you die, you just need to restart. Or so I'm told, because, you know, I'm an epic gamer and I never died. I never experienced this. Wait, what the hell was that? So on the platforming front, how does it feel? Honestly, it feels great. Buddy is on the floatier side, but in the context of everything here, it makes total sense. He has a jump, a double jump, and through the use of a propeller, he can glide to reach even further distances and slow his descent. He can also dive too, but this game doesn't require you to have pixel perfect movement, and it came across as very forgiving, playing into the sense of being a cozy game first, which encourages exploration. I never felt frustrated or had a sense that anything was too far beyond the scope of my skill. This kept me chugging along, always willing and wanting to explore more. Now, as alluded to before, each level or chapter has an impressive variety of tasks. You'll be scrubbing some kind of pile or liquid of some sort, collecting coins, solving environmental puzzles, helping NPCs who each offer unique objectives, and despite doing similar actions across all the chapters, the shifting environments make them feel entirely fresh. One task might unlock a flower-filled path, while the same type of actions in another chapter reveals a secret area or raises a structure. One of the big strengths in this game are its levels and how they play into the overall feeling of each setting. There's one level where you enter what looks to be a children's playground with a sandpit, but through the perspective shifts, the music, and the overall thematics, it now comes across as a blistering desert. There's another level in a cold shed, but it transports you into this ice-capped frozen abyss where you truly get a sense of how cold this area can get. You'll also get a different outfit to go along with the new theme of each chapter, and the NPCs will also match the thematic code too, all working to give you a unique and memorable experience for each and every chapter. There was not one chapter that lagged behind another. Everyone was so unique, offered so many rewards and things to do, and all had so many memorable exchanges with NPCs. Every chapter also did a fantastic job of showing the history of this world, a history of a time of what was, when humans once roamed the planet, which makes the player constantly wonder, well, what happened to us? We see remnants of our lives through these strategically placed miscellaneous items, and it's just another driving force that guides you to the end of the game. Now, moving on to the topics of the NPCs. They are designed so well here. Huge props to the writing department because they have some of the funniest or most emotional dialogue, and even though some of them aren't voiced, I was reading every dialogue box in this game. You'll also notice that these characters are made up of many different miscellaneous items. You've got ones made from scrap metal, bells, musical instruments, a microphone, but they all work toward capturing the imagination and turning something seemingly insignificant into something that comes to life, and you'll constantly come into contact with these creative designs throughout your play. Seeing how these otherwise boring objects can be turned into interesting characters you grow to care for was such a highlight. Now, a lot of the NPCs that you talk to will offer you a mission, and these missions are conveniently tracked in your notes. Once you tick off a mission, it will be stamped in your notes, and you'll also have a pop-up telling you that that mission is complete. And oftentimes, the NPC in question will also change in animation, so there will be absolutely no questioning whether that mission is completed or not. Which also then speaks to another strength of the game. I never felt lost in my time in Misc. Quests are really approachable, and you never get overloaded, and you can tackle them at your own pace. It strikes that perfect balance between structure and freedom. Collectibles are also done so right. At the start of each level, you're told exactly what you need to look for, and in the chapter select, hovering over a chapter shows you how many cogs, missions, and other things that there are left to do, making it super easy to track progress. Now, a credit to Michael and the dev team here. When I was playing, I noticed that there was no visual indicator when you are in the chapter select to distinguish which levels are 100% completed versus the ones that are not. In this footage here, I 100%ed chapters 1 and 2, but not 3 on purpose. I wanted to see if there was a difference, but you wouldn't be able to tell which one was which because they all looked the same. So I went back to him and said, hey, this would be a great change from a player's perspective, and bam! Now there is a visual difference between the ones that you have 100%ed versus not. It really is a testament to Michael and the dev team here and just how receptive and open they are to feedback and how encouraged they are to tweak things along the way to give us the best game possible. Now, other quality of life features like this are present throughout the game too. You might be missing 1 or 2 pieces of trash and you swear you've looked around the entire level, but you just can't find that one tiny bit of paper. To help you out, you need to go to the Recyclotron, ask for help, and he will give you a radar that can locate any unfound trash. Though not before calling you a filthy cheater and making you feel a bit like a piece of trash yourself. Yes, Recyclotron, I am a filthy cheater. Can I have my radar, please? Just do be aware that if you are going to be using this radar, it will disable your difference made points from that point on in this chapter. What are those points? Well, they're a subtle but powerful system where the more good you do, the more letters you receive from other bots. Some admire your efforts, others share their deepest secrets. It's these little touches that make you feel like you're truly making a difference in the world and people are responding to your actions. Now, there are a lot of things to do in this game and I really can't cover everything, but do be aware that a lot of the stuff in this game is also entirely optional. You don't need to do Gus's challenge runs. You don't need to collect any of the trash if you don't want to. You don't even need to get 10 golden cogs per level. You only need to get 8. And you can choose which 8 out of the 10 in each chapter you want to do. The freedom it affords players in this way really puts a ball back in your court. It says you do whatever you want to do at your own pace, no questions asked. It's incredibly hard to create a game that affords this much freedom while also being so clear in its direction and what needs to be done. So the music and sound design, another absolutely strong pillar. The soundtrack is charming, emotional, and surprisingly powerful. Some levels feature full vocal tracks that drive home the emotional tone. Buddy and Bag Boy's cute little beeps, the satisfying sounds of collecting items, your shifting pitter-patters across different surfaces, some even playing musical notes of the instruments you walk over. It all works together to create a soundscape that's full of character and shows just how much effort was filtered into this facet. As you play through the story's narrative, you'll also be guided by a very warm and welcoming narrator's voice that helps sustain the feeling of innocence and playfulness, but also elevates the emotional moments too.
Thankfully, none of them were a match for Buddy's might.
In those emotional scenes, the music swells beautifully. In lighter moments, it stays playful. It's responsive, it's dynamic, and it's memorable. Simply exploring and engaging with this world often gave me satisfying and tactile sounds that scratched that part of my brain. It means nothing is abrupt or pushed me away. You as a player, through everything I've mentioned up until this point, is aimed to keep you wanting to return to this game. And it just absolutely smashed that feeling of wanting to return out of the park. Even though I've already finished this game, I'm wanting to go back and start a second playthrough. So, is it time to get personal here, guys? Uh-oh, feelings, emotions. For the past 8 to 9 weeks, I've been dealing with Bell's palsy. It's a condition that has caused the left side of my face to become completely paralyzed. It came out of nowhere and has an incredibly slow recovery time. I didn't want to leave the house. I clearly haven't wanted to get on camera, hence these voiceover videos. Why? Because I felt different and not in a way that I was okay with. But as you could imagine, when this game's theme centers around differences, it's something that I resonated with exceptionally quickly. Misc, A Tiny Tale doesn't just tolerate differences, it celebrates them. It uplifts them. It reminds you that being different is not something to be ashamed of. It's something worth honoring. That message, coming at the time that it did, really meant a lot to me. This game helped me reframe how I saw myself as I'm going through this. It reminded me that others are also going through things too, oftentimes much worse. Being different is just part of the adventure. This wasn't just a fun game for me, it was almost healing in a sense. There are moments in this game that just took my breath away. I gasped, I sat in silence, staring at my screen, processing what just happened in front of me. Other times had me sitting there with a big grin on my face, audibly laughing at my screen. The emotional payoffs work because they have been earned. The writing is never manipulative, it's heartfelt, sincere, and rooted in a world and message that feels real. Okay, that's enough emotion. I also love games that shrink you down and turn everyday objects into magical spaces, and Misc nails this too. Items like mugs, rulers, and jars become the foundation for clever, imaginative level designs. Even something as simple as a garden hose becomes this whimsical, mysterious path. You can't see where it leads to, and you can only enter from one side. So you naturally question, where does this go? How long is it? You don't know, and you need to find out. That sense of curiosity and wonder runs through the entire game, and it's a joy to explore every chapter. How much joy, I hear you ask? Well, I 100%ed everything. I picked up every single piece of trash, collected every cog, did every mission, unlocked everything in the gallery, and I loved every second of it. It took me around 8 hours to complete. Keep in mind that some of that time was dedicated to recording and writing notes to this video, but it never once felt like a chore. I was in a constant struggle of wanting to play because I was enjoying this world so much, and also not wanting to play because I didn't want my time in this game to come to an end. At around the 6 to 7 hour mark, Misc: A Tiny Tale is the perfect weekend game. You can finish it in just a couple short sittings, but will still manage to leave you with so many memories from your short time in this fantastical world. Misc: A Tiny Tale is small in size, and so too is Buddy, but the impact it will leave on you? Bloody massive. Do be aware I'm running a giveaway for Misc: A Tiny Tale. Head to the link in the description below for your chance to win a copy of Misc: A Tiny Tale.